I don't know if you guys are reading chat, but Daz came in with a very good question. Where do we see, just to summarize it, where do we see, like, do we have a big event that's going to close out Phase 4? Obviously, we've got the multiverse happening and all the cosmic stuff with the Eternals and stuff like that. Like, do we think there's going to be something big happening in the MCU to close it, to close out Phase 4? It's got to be Kang or something, right?
Kang or something, but like I don't even know. Like, I don't even feel like we're in Phase 4. I don't even feel like we're in phases anymore.
True.
I feel like before they felt very distinctive, and it's just been like, it feels like it's been what, like 4 years since Endgame, and just been like all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, the phases felt really succinct in where they were in the timeline. Even stuff like Captain America that took place in the past were still anchored in like the modern day where that phase was. And right now, I'm just like, what is Phase 4? Like, what are they gonna do? Like, who's there? Who's our villain? Who's in trouble?
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on in Phase 4, man. So it's hard for me to kind of answer that one because I'm just so lost in what Phase 4 is.
Yeah.
Right.
I think like Galactus is gonna make an appearance soon now with the Celestials showing up and stuff in Eternals. Now this is probably gonna be Phase 5, but I think Kang probably closes out Phase 4, and I think then Phase 5 will be Galactus when they've had time to introduce mutants and stuff like that. I think it has to get to a kind of Galactus level, right? Because like, where does it go after Kang? Where does it go after Thanos? Like, you know, it's like there needs to be some gigantic event that brings everything back together to do another kind of, like, I know there's big talks of Secret Wars and like Battle World and you know, variants just fight each other, and you know, like, yeah, like Secret Wars sounds like it's going to be what brings the Russo brothers back, and they might turn that into a trilogy. So maybe that's like going to be the end of Phase 5. And then I don't know if they can bring Galactus into that somehow. I don't think Galactus is involved in that storyline at all, but I think Secret Wars is the big one. That's the next kind of Thanos level kind of event movie wise. Like threat level, I mean, like threat level in the MCU, I think the highest it can go is Galactus, and I think like after Kang, who we've obviously been introduced to already, I don't think Kang takes like the entire MCU to beat him. You know, like I don't think it's a big end game event to beat Kang. Maybe it is. Maybe they can build it up to so that it will be. But I think Galactus is the one. Like that's like where it's like this guy can literally just stomp our whole planet out. Like, you know, we need to all collectively come together to stop him. I think that's the next big event.
Well, if we were to think about it in terms of the 3-phase rule, then we could see it in terms of levels. So like we had Marvel's Avengers for the first phase, and that was the end result of the phase where you see Loki, which is like a god, but it's like a humanoid type that, you know, it's very similar to like a normal human stature. Then you have Phase 2 with Ultron, and Ultron was a giant robot that had a multitude of itself, like planning to take over the world and such. So like it gets a little more intense for the fact that like it could literally expand and like be a virus in a sense. Whereas like with Loki, it was just more like, I want to rule as king over the world and, you know, possibly help Thanos. We didn't know he was helping Thanos until the end of the movie. Then you see Phase 3, and there's your big bad. Even though he's still a humanoid, he was on, I would like maybe a galactic level, because he was clearly on a galactic quest to get all of the stones. So what I would propose for the 3 phases coming up is that we get Doom,
yes,
then Kang, then Galactus.
I think
I would definitely see that. Like
Kang's coming first because like we know he's going to be he's going to be Ant-Man 3, and he's already been in Loki, and he'll be probably in Loki 2 as well. So I think it's going to be Kang, Doom, and then Galactus. Yeah, you're right in who you're saying.
It's in the order.
Yeah, just the orders. I think Kang's coming first because he's already here. You know,
right? And the only reason why I would say Doom first though is because they can still use Kang in terms of like small picture, but like an underlying feeling, because Kang comes in multitudes, similar to like how Ultron did. There's different versions of Kangs from different universes, and therefore you have like, you can have like these weaker versions of Kang showing up out of nowhere. You can have like silly moments, But at that second phase, you find out like the biggest, baddest Kang that's available is now like gonna stomp on people. And that's like that would be the end of phase 2. And then like with Doom, with Doom for the first phase, then you have your introduction for everyone. Because I know we're all like hungering for the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. So like we got to get those characters in. And there's even Magneto. Like if you were to bring in Magneto, that could be another big bad, or it could be a mini boss. The mid level. Like it can get crazy.
They definitely could, and like I could also see them like taking all these phases and just doing away with them and like kind of phasing them out, so to speak, where it's like we're not going to need everyone to come together to defeat a large Galactus because we want the X-Men to go on for another 20 years. We want a Fantastic Four storyline to go on for 10 years. I see what's like where they're going to have a lot of like kind of mid-level bosses, like you say, like Doctor Doom, where it's like the Fantastic Four are going to go up against the Doctor Doom in their own little section of the MCU, but they're going to need people to cross over to help them out with Doctor Doom, where it's like they're just picking and choosing people because, the idea of us scaling higher and higher to the point where we get to the Galactus, it's like, once you beat Galactus, where do you go? So why would they even introduce him? To me, Galactus feels like a character that's going to be involved in the Eternals, and not that the Eternals beat Galactus, but they kind of like steer him off, right? They kind of nullify him coming to take over the universe and stuff.
I have one more speculation though. If we are considering Galactus,
go on.
What if it's I know you want to get rid of the phases, Hoffman, but I think this still would work even if there wasn't any phases.
Oh, I don't want to get rid of them. I like them. I love it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying. So that's Kevin Feige.
Gotcha. Well, what if, much like we see in the movies with the Avengers, when we saw Thanos like here and there, and then he's going to take care of it himself and whatnot. What if like during one movie, we get Silver Surfer to show up and just like, he's like, I'm the Herald of Galactus. Galactus will be here in such and such time. And so you have a time limit. And so like, as the movies are going on, like I love movies that make you forget that something's coming. Mm-hmm. So so much like when you watch like a whodunit movie, and then you realize, shit, someone killed someone else while we were all trying to investigate something else. Mm-hmm. And I want that to happen. I want it to be like everyone's like so preoccupied that all of a sudden like Galactus is like just a few planets away.
Yeah, true.
That would be insane.
Yeah,
and that's why like I don't know if we have like a big boss like Galactus coming, is because I believe at this point in phase 1 and phase 1, like I feel like we at least got like a post-credit scene with Thanos, right? Like we at least got like introducing the idea of Thanos at some point, and like we're just nowhere. We have nothing. We have nothing.
The second Thanos popped his head in, like everyone knew, okay, Infinity Gauntlet, like that's where we're going. Like everyone knew what we were doing now. Whereas now it's like, okay, we've got Kang, and like Eternals are showing us Celestials and stuff. But what's the end game? Like, what's the end game? Like
Hey, it's Hoppin from the Marvelous Chats. You guys just got done watching a clip from our podcast, the Marvelous Chats podcast, that we put out weekly here on YouTube. We put that thing out every Monday, and so if you want to watch the full podcast that this clip came from, make sure you click on the video you see on screen or down in the description below. You can go see that podcast and see everything else we talk about in that episode, because we talk about everything Marvel, we talk about everything DCU and Star Wars. If it's kind of in the nerdum, in the geekdom, we will talk about it, because that's what we are. We're just geeks and nerds enjoying that stuff, trying to talk about our thoughts about it here on YouTube. So if you are into that idea and you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the subscription button. If you subscribe, we're trying to get this thing above 100, and then we'll get one of those fancy custom URLs that people get for that. Nice. And also leave a like on that video so that you can let other people know that you enjoyed the content, and YouTube will share it with people or just anyone, because it's got a thumbs up. All right, that's gonna do it for the video. That's it for me shilling and trying to get you guys to do stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed that clip. Glad you guys stopped in. All right, that's gonna do it. We'll see you guys on the next one.